Welcome to My Life on Paper. I am Brianna. Welcome to Off the Board. We're on the last Wednesday of the month. We pull one of our pins off our boards and use them, and I am pulling off this pin where I'm using watercolor on my page. Also, welcome to Baby's Got Scraps. That runs the month of January, and this is the last day I'll be participating in that. Here's my sketch from Scrap a Sketch on Facebook with Lisa Sikorsky. I will have that listed below. So I have all these pieces. This is a Creative Memories collection. I have all these pieces of scraps. Here are my watercolors I have, and I just went for a blue, and I just went for it. I am using a watercolor paper that I got on Amazon. It is cold press. I did a little research, and that's what I figured was going to work better, and it comes in a 12 by 12 sheet. So I gather up the pieces that are going to be too small, and I put those to the side. And then I'm going to work with these two larger bits of scraps. You can see there are the same scraps on the left lower side and then on the right upper side. And I end up pulling out some of the blue scraps that are pretty tiny, and I'm sorry if you can't see those great on camera, but I end up piecing those together to make a frame for my photo. So they're all like 1-inch strips, and I was a little bit leery of how that would just piece together. They're kind of foiled. I think that helps kind of camouflage, and I'm just making them in the shorter strips so that they go around the photo. But I think the foiling camouflages that, it's not a full sheet of paper behind there. So I put the ATG behind the photo, and I just, and I'm sorry, I'm working down so low there. I work on getting those a little bit overlapped on the photo. And then I do get a little bit more creative with tucking them in the ends. I kind of tuck them behind, just because I wanted to hide the seams the best that I could. So you'll see I laid them on top there, which I would do again. It was pretty easy, and good use of scraps. You're not wasting anything, that's for sure. You can see how little I have left of this collection, all those strips. One day, maybe during the 30 days of sketches, I'll find something that works with a whole bunch of little strips and kill this kit. So here I'm just doing the same thing on the bottom where I'm scooting that underneath, just really hiding the seam as the best I can. Then I will take those two other pieces of pattern paper and cut those down to the right size. And I refer to the sketch, and then the watercoloring is going to be where you can see in the background kind of that graph looking. That's where I'm going to put my watercolor. So I've already squirted some water onto the watercolor itself to get it a little bit wet. And while I'm working on all these other little pieces, I cut that little piece, and then after I figure out I want to put my title on there, it ends up being a lot larger, because you can see there's the title fits on there exactly. Well, my title ends up being Celebrate, which is a lot longer, so I need a bigger piece, but that's okay. We'll get there. So I have my pieces for the top part, and then here is my, you know what? I won't use that Celebrate. I'm going to use Congrats instead. But that's where I realize, I need a bigger, longer spot for Congrats. So I measure that, and I know it's about 6 inches. So as long as, there we go. As long as this is longer than 6 inches, we're all good. Make sure you check out everybody's playing below. I'll have everybody listed with Baby Got Scraps. Like I said, it's the month of January. We're finishing up. Some people do every day. Some people just do when they can, like myself. And then the other one is Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. I've just been really enjoying this. It's one of my favorite hops. We can take any kind of pin. So you can take color inspiration. You can take a sketch. But I've just been finding different techniques that I've been saving on my board that makes me get out of my box, makes me slow down a little bit and think more. And the sketch works so perfectly with it. Over at Scrap a Sketch, Lisa has just a ton of sketches. And it's just fun. There are also albums there, so you can see how everybody else is using the sketch too. Totally fun. So here, this is American Crafts, and I got them from Peachy Cheap, and um, you the you have to work at getting the back off. I cut that part off, but it likes to stick to the backing. So there is my title, and that brings a bit of gold in, which you will see me get some more gold. I'll adhere down my pieces together, but I catch myself. I'm not going to adhere them to the page because I still have to get my watercolor down. I'm going to do the same thing with the pieces on the bottom, and then I think it's at this point where I'm like, I might trim that down a little bit. Maybe I did that already. I trimmed that piece down a little bit on the bottom. So I get my water out, and the directions say, put your strips of water down first, and then, sorry for my head. when I got to see closer, man, my head's going to be in the way. At this point, I haven't figured it out, but I'm using a close to my heart mat behind my paper, and if I had been paying attention, I could see it's all marked off, and I would have gotten very nice, even rows. I will on the other part down below. But here I am taking that really pretty color blue and bringing it across the page. I gotta tell you, okay, now now I get all the color off, and then you're gonna drag the brush the other way to make the grid. And doing that, I wanted it to be perfect. I don't think you're really supposed to sweep through twice, and it's going to cause me problems later. But this was a first try, and it's okay. You do have to really load your brush, though, to go through. So the other thing is, what I find out down below, I'll figure it out. When you make longer rows, you start off with that nice dark paint, and by the time you get to the right at the end of your row, you don't have that nice dark paint. So it does get, it gets more subtle. It loses paint on the right-hand side. It gets lighter. And there I'm using my picture for reference to figure out how far do I have to go up with these rows. And I am using the grid lines to get these lines straighter. They're still not perfectly straight, but straighter. And here with the white, yeah, and you see my head again, I'm sorry. With the white, with the water, I do have to really lay it down. At this point, you can go back in and really, get another layer on and get it nice and thick. And I'll go one more row because I know I want it above. In the end, to do it again, I would bring those over further. Oh, here I use my spray bottle from the dollar store, and I get it more wet. So you can see it's lighter on the right-hand side, which, again, isn't the worst thing in the world. But I try to fix it later, and I kind of think, not that I screwed it up, because it's, still looks homemade. It was a good technique to try. But I think I have definitely learned from it. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I screw it up as we go along. So, and I get nice height on it, but I should have just gone off to the right more due to the size of the photo. So here I go, and this is what it's supposed to do. It's kind of supposed to bring that color through. It's all good, but it does get lighter on that right-hand side, so you're not pulling as much color through. So my solution then is to put some more color. This is what I should not have done, because you're kind of taking away some of the effect, right? Because you're going darker over those lines that are up and down now. But the picture does go there. It's dry. The picture does go over the top of that, so you won't see all of it, and it looks great. Just shouldn't have dragged my brush through a second time. It's okay. I like it anyway. So here I trim down the photo, or the pattern paper behind even more, because I want to see all that now that I did it behind the photo. And I end up putting the photo a little bit to the right, yeah, so that you can just see more of that grid. So I get some stickers out of my stash. I have a iris container with kind of metallics in it, and so I want to bring some of that gold in. And there is some peach, very subtle peach in that paper that's backing the photo. So that's why I took this Enjoy Life, and it's with some hearts that are gold and black and white and gold and black and white. Oh, and peach. So that's what I have on my finger there. I'm going to use a gold kind of tab and tuck that around the photo. And then I will, and kind of forgetting that it's not glued down, so I will adhere that down with the HEG and before adding more elements to the layout. I do have this sticker that says, oh, I have an arrow sticker that says be true to who you are. I will adhere the title up there. I have some, these are Paper Studio arrows, and I've had them quite a while and they're not quite sticky, so I do add some glue to them. And here's a question for the arrow. Like, it just seems like it should go right. I don't know if there's a really good reason or not, but yeah. So then I have this sparkly glittery The Very Best that matches the gold. And so this is a picture of my husband receiving an award. And so I figured, yep, he's the very best. And then be true to who you are is going to go right there. Some of these stickers that just like wouldn't make sense on a different page. Now, I have had these stickers in the stars in my stash forever. So I'm not really sure where they're from, but I'm going to get them on there. And they're gold and silver, which I thought was kind of cool. And let's see, I have the hearts down. So I think the last thing is to do is to get the spray on there. It's Nuvo Mica Mist in Antique Gold. And it's not a bright gold, can I say? It kind of absorbs into the paper, but it's just a little bit extra to give it. And really, that's about it. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. Have a fabulous day.